Okay, friends, it's time to talk about the elephant in the room. COVID-19. It's here among us, friends, and it's just not going away. It's like the dog you just can't shake. So we are here in the middle of November, and far longer on Zoom than we ever imagined we would be, but here we are. So what are I want to say a couple of things. One, I want to thank you guys for jumping in and embracing this technology. I mean, the number of times that I've told other pastors, you know what? If a 96-year-old member at our church can do it, you can get your people to log into Zoom as well. And you guys have been faithful to log in week after week to be a part of family. Our church family together and seeing each other and encouraging one another and worshiping together. And so thank you for jumping in that way. I'll tell you, at the beginning of the pandemic, we were shocked, and we were after a couple of weeks, we're like, all right, how long is this going to last? And I got questions of like, is it time to come back to the in-person gathering? But then as it grew on, we started to see how serious this virus is. And I got less and less questions of when's it time to go back to the in-person gathering. And then about a month ago, not a lot of people, but every once in a while, I'd get a question of like, I wonder when we're going to go back to service, or going to go back to church, going to go back to meeting together in person. What do you think about that? When are we going to do that? And so it hasn't been an overwhelming question that I get often, but every once in a while I'll get that question. And so I want to peel back a little bit of what my process is, what I'm thinking, and that way you understand and can know where we are and how we're going to make those decisions. And then that we can join together in celebrating when we get back together. So I'm going to pull up some information here that shows you where we are or where we've been. I'm going to share my screen here. The information on this website, and I'll give links to these websites in an email that I send out. This is Washington State data. This is specifically for King County of COVID cases since the beginning all the way to where we are now. And so the blue bars are the daily counts, and the dark blue line is the 7-day average. Back here is March 12th, 11th, 12th, when the world kind of stopped. And it was at 118 confirmed cases, 77 7-day rolling average. And that's, I think that March, whatever that was, that Sunday of that week before is when we had our last in-person gathering. And, it kind of hit a peak here, kind of not plateaued, but started to go down through the summer, and then kick back up after Memorial Day, the summer months, to another height, a little bit higher than before, went back down, and then school started again, and other cold weather. And now here we are. The data here, the last 7-day rolling is 291 cases, 7-day rolling average, which is far above, almost double of what we were back here. If we go to this other dashboard, again, this is King County specific. This is the information that they give for moving from phase 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 4, etc. And here's where King County currently is. They want there to be less than 25 cases per 100,000 people, and King County is at 160. They want there to be less than 2% positive test rate, and King County is at double that, 4.2%. And so with this information, if the decision was being made now by the powers that be, I don't know that King County would be going from phase 1 to phase 2. if we weren't already in phase 2 or phase 1, whatever modified phase we're in. And so looking at this, I want us instead to pray that God would do the miraculous and bring these numbers down. And here's when I'm going to say that we can resume in-person gatherings. When these numbers, when we're less than 25 per 100,000 cases, and we're at 2% or less of positive test rate, that's going to start a 2-week timer. And that 2-week timer, if those numbers can hold, that next Sunday, we're going to start in-person gatherings. And we're going to monitor it from there. And if it gets too outlandish, we'll come back to Zoom only. But in this way, I want us to be united in praying for our community and our country, that God that God will do the impossible and get rid of this coronavirus. Like, that's what we all want. Now, whether that happens through divine intervention and God just miraculously blows it away, let's pray for that. Whether that happens because God, there's a vaccine that's provided and enough people take it that there's enough immunity to the virus, and that's what brings the virus numbers down, let's pray for that. Whether that's because everyone wears their blessed mask and is socially distant all the time and doesn't become foolish and gather in large gatherings, and that's what brings those numbers down, then let's pray for that. You can pray for any and all three of those to happen, but we're going to be united in prayer that God would do something here in our county, in our country, and in our globe, because this has gone on far too long, and has affected far too many lives, both in terms of sickness, in terms of death, and in terms of just the economic effect that it's had on our country and on our globe. And so I want us to be in prayer. I'm going to send out these links. In fact, I'll put the links in the chat now, but I'll also put them in the email that I send out to you, because I want you guys also to be checking these sites. I check it about once. I have been checking it about once every other week. I might step that up to every week or so. But if you guys want to be checking it every day, and you guys see those numbers hit below 25 per 100,000 and less than 2% positive test rate, I want you guys to call me. I want you to text me, email me, and say, hey, let's start that 2-week timer. And then we're going to celebrate. And then 2 weeks later, if those numbers hold, we'll be back in the building, rejoicing and praising God, and in compliance with whatever categories of regulations are still in place at that time. And so why are we doing this? Because it's just not the same. As much as we love seeing you guys here and everybody gets a front row seat, nobody's in the back, nobody's head is in front of anybody else's, we can all see each other. We can all agree that it's just not the same than when we gather together. We can share a cup of coffee and a donut and a side hug or a communion together. And it really is something to have corporate worship together and hear each other's voices in praise to God. So, are we excited to see God do something new in our midst? Yes. Do we want to be back together again, praising and corporately worshiping Him? Yes. So we're going to be united in prayer and doing our part to bring those numbers down so that we can be back together again. So blessings to you, Lakeview. Thank you so much for being a part of our church digitally. Thank you so much for giving so many socks to impact our community. Thank you for continuing to pray and to be a part of the church here. And like I've said since the beginning, the church isn't closed, because this building is not the church. You are the church. We are the church. Everywhere we go, we take the Spirit of the Lord with us, and that is where church can happen. God's Spirit can move everywhere. And now that we are everywhere, expect him to move. Expect God to do miracles.